Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Main Street Moments podcast. This is Kathy.
And Brian.
And we have a few things to talk about today. You wanted to start talking about what first? You had a topic in mind.
Well, yeah. We were just watching Mickey Views.
With Braden, who you met.
Yeah, I've met him a couple times. He is about 18 feet tall.
Yeah, I've heard he's really
and the skinniest person you've ever seen in your life. But he did...
And very nice, you said.
Very nice guy. Very nice guy. But he went over all the 50th anniversary merch at Walt Disney World. And I got to tell you, I saw one shirt that I might buy only because out of everything they showed, it was one thing, well, okay, I might be able to wear that. I was really disappointed in the 50th anniversary merchandise.
He was too, and I have to agree.
Cheap.
I don't think there's anything they do have some things that are supposed to be nostalgic, but from what I saw, they're really not. The new stuff, it's glitzy, it's shiny, it's like iridescent. You know, it's supposed to kind of go. The castle looks beautiful, by the way. I will say that. I can't wait to see it in person when we go up October 1st. But the merch, to me, it's very thoughtless. I would like to say there's no feeling of nostalgia. For me, there's no sentimentality. A lot of it looks like the designs. Like he said, the one thing, it's like they just slapped a picture on a T-shirt.
I'll tell you what it looks like.
There's not a lot of thought behind this, in my opinion.
The 50th anniversary merch, to me, looks like it could be for any festival or holiday, and they just put 50th anniversary on it and said, here it is.
Yes.
What I would like them to have done was to have like retro things that reflect the opening of all the parks, or you had a good idea, like do Disney throughout the years, like have merch that reflects the 70s, then merch that reflects the 80s, 90s, the 2000s.
Disney through the decades, or Disney throughout the years.
Yeah.
And re-release old designs that they have not. Now, he did say they're releasing a back scratcher that's been on Etsy.
I can't wait.
Okay. But they need to re-release designs that they had in the 70s, the 80s. I know they have some retro stuff in the stores now, but I think they could take that same color palette they have, the iridescent, all that, the pinks and the blues and all that, and they can take some old designs from the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, and they can incorporate that into some more thoughtful, nostalgic designs. I just wasn't very impressed.
What I think's going on, Kathy?
There's nothing I saw other than the pin that I want to get.
I'll tell you what I think is going on.
I mean,
and this may sound crazy to some of you. I think the people that are running now we're specifically talking about Walt Disney World, the parks in Orlando, Florida. Okay,
right.
I'm not talking about everything else involving the company.
That's our home park.
But it seems to me that the people that are running Walt Disney World don't really like Walt Disney World. They don't understand Walt Disney World. They have no connection to Walt Disney World. They don't get what Walt Disney World is all about. And like one of the merch items that they have out is it's for men and women, some sweatsuit, some jogging suit or something, and it's black, it's shiny. It looks like a cheap Halloween costume or something. It was just so
that's supposed to be their
strange.
Fancy stuff.
You know, what I would like to have seen happen and we're going up, by the way, on October 1st for the 50th anniversary day. And, you know, while
we're going up for that whole weekend.
Yeah. While we were both babies when the park first opened, I went to Walt Disney World. They had a pass holder preview the first day that the park reopened after the pandemic. And I took off work. I went there that day. I saw everybody, Braden from Mickey Views, Adam the Woo, everybody was there. And the reason I went that day is I said to myself, you know what? This is going to be the closest I ever experienced to being at opening day of Walt Disney World. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm the same age as the park. I was born a few months before, so I wasn't there. But I thought, well, and you know what? I'm glad I went that day because the 50th anniversary doesn't seem like it's going to be that with all this strange merchandise. I think that the 50th anniversary should have been an updated replay of opening day. And if you've not seen this, go on YouTube. There's a very, very good opening day television special at Walt Disney World in Orlando. It has, I want to say, Tommy Tune in it.
There's a lot of cool specials on YouTube.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
Or that one with Tommy Tune might be the opening day of Space Mountain. But regardless of that, you can find the opening day at Walt Disney World on YouTube, and it's spectacular. And this merchandise just is really
I
disappointing.
didn't see anything in it that made me like, oh my gosh, I have to have that. There was nothing in it so far from what I've seen, from what they've released, that makes me feel nostalgic or, you know, I've been going to Disney since 74. That's the first time I went. I was 4 years old. I was a year when Disney opened. And I grew up in Florida. It was a huge, huge part of my childhood, okay? I went there with my grandparents. We went almost every year growing up. And I think you're right. I think a lot of the people affiliate, you know, of course, when I went to Disney in the 70s and 80s, a lot of those Imagineers that worked with Walt were still working at the park. They were still a big part of the park and keeping Walt's vision alive. And, you know, we saw this show Behind the Attraction and where they have a clip of Walt saying, Disney's always changing, evolving. I get that.
Yeah.
But I think you're right. I think the people working there now are younger. They probably weren't even alive when Disney World opened. That's okay. But they might not have that feeling of nostalgia.
Well, like they didn't go there.
Important.
They didn't go there growing up as kids. They're not really into Disney.
No, they did, just not when it first opened.
Well, they might have
probably
been
went in the 90s or you know,
a couple times,
which wasn't the best time.
It's not a part of their life.
Well, it is.
Or they wouldn't be doing it this way.
It is, but not from the beginning.
Yeah.
I don't feel that feeling. I don't want to say they don't. I don't want to say they don't love Disney.
Yeah.
But I just didn't feel there was a feeling of nostalgia with the merch. It's pretty. It's shiny.
It looks
it's
cheap,
cool,
but it won't be cheap. The only
it looks a little thoughtless.
Well, the only thing I want to make sure that we buy a couple of, and they're probably will. I'm not saying that they'll be worth anything because everyone's going to buy them, you know. But the 50th anniversary pens. They have like a pin for the Magic Kingdom. I like to get a couple of those just to keep personally.
And I would like to see on the merch, I don't, you know, incorporate. Now, maybe they will have this, but incorporating more characters. I always say there's not enough Walt at Walt Disney at all. I mean, when I go to Magic Kingdom, I never see anything of, I see his brother's statue at the big front, but I don't remember seeing anything really of Walt there.
You know what would be really cool is if they had something special at the Magic Kingdom for the rides that are there today that are opening day rides, like Haunted
Exactly,
Mansion.
Right. I think that is a great idea. They could have a whole line of merch based just on the original rides. That's a great idea. See, that's a thoughtful. That's thoughtful.
They're
you think,
not
okay,
thoughtful.
right. You think, okay, what was here when we first opened? Even rides that aren't there anymore, Mr. Toad, Snow White, rides that aren't even there anymore. Mm-hmm. Have merch on that.
Yeah.
Bring out those designs. Bring out the Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, the Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. Now, that's at Disneyland. There's rides there that if you had wings, that was my favorite ride as a kid. There's Mission to Mars.
If
those rides are gone,
you know,
bring back Mission to Mars merch.
Now, I know this sounds, I know a lot of this may sound insane to a lot of you people, but what I would have done for the 50th anniversary, it would have been like it was 1971 again. I would have people there, cast members, wearing uniforms from those original rides. And the older rides that are not even there anymore. Like you said, Mr. Toad's or Wild Ride, or if you had wings, you guys that never got to ride, if you have wings.
Great ride.
There are really no good videos of it. On YouTube.
It was my favorite ride. Great theme song too.
Yeah, there are videos of if you had it was where Buzz Lightyear is today.
Yeah.
There are videos of it on YouTube, but none of them are very good because people just had
they could do a whole line of merch based on the original rides at the park. That's a great idea.
That would be amazing. And could you imagine walking around and seeing people in costumes and uniforms that they wore back in 71?
Like going back in time.
Yeah, there's none of that.
Just
like Main Street
bit.
USA. They could do this just on Main Street instead of being turn of the century players. Have that. And another thing I'd like to see them do, which I've not seen any discussion of, is I would like them to bring back a lot of the characters for photo ops that we haven't seen in a long, long time. Like, I give you a great example, and that would be the Robin Hood, for example. You don't see Robin Hood anymore. You know, there's a lot of old characters that you don't see them. I'd like to see a lot of that.
Maybe we will, but I doubt it. You know, when I was a kid in the 70s and the 80s, they did not have character meetups at all. Okay, the way it worked is, and I've talked about this before, the characters walked around the park. And
yeah.
and the biggest
Oh,
thrill
yeah.
for me as a kid, I liked
was
the
amazing.
rides, but I didn't care about the rides as much as who was I going to see walking around
Yeah.
the park. And my brother and I would go around with our little autograph book, and we would spend our time trying to spot characters because they would just walk around and you could go up to them. You didn't have to get in line or make an appointment or anything like that. It was different. I would love to see them bring out those old characters. Now, maybe they will, like Little John, Robin Hood, any of those old characters that you don't see from old school Disney that they used to have would be really cool to have around the park. Even maybe bring out some of the old costumes. I don't even know if they're still good anymore, 50 years
You know,
old.
I
mean,
can remember the first time.
just some nostalgia would be cool.
The first time I saw Cinderella was right next to the carousel.
Yeah.
And she was just walking around. And you could go up to her and we didn't have selfies then, but you could take pictures, get the autograph. There's a lot. You know, I just feel like so far what I'm hearing from and we're going to be there, the 50th anniversary is going to revolve around two things, neither of which are nostalgic. Ratatouille, the official opening of Ratatouille at Epcot, and then the new firework display at Magic Kingdom.
And Harmonious at Epcot. Now,
Harmonious at Epcot.
okay, let's switch gears.
None of that is nostalgic.
Right. So we'll switch to another topic. Brian is going on September 8th, which is a Wednesday. He's going after work up to Orlando. It's a 3-hour drive just to get on Ratatouille. I got you an appointment on Ratatouille at 3 o'clock.
Annual pass holder preview.
So if you're there Wednesday the 8th at 3, Brian will be there for the pass holder preview of Ratatouille.
Yeah, and
you watched that movie for the first time in
I did. Yeah, well,
last week.
I'm going to go up for the pass holder preview of Ratatouille. And I'm excited about riding it. I think it's going to because we've all seen the ride because they have it in Paris.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Everybody has seen it online. But I think it's going to feel a lot like the Mickey's Runaway Railway. It's the same thing.
Yeah,
it's going to be the same thing with just a different facade. You know, but I'm pretty excited about it. But I'm going up on,
and that whole area is going to be open, with Gastos and everything.
Yeah, I'm going up on the pass holder preview, and it seems a little ridiculous actually for me to do this, but I'm going to do it. I work strange hours. I work on the radio, so I do a morning radio show. So I get off the air at 9 a.m. So I'm going to leave the radio station and go to Epcot just to ride Ratatouille. And then and it's a 2.5 hour drive. Then I'm going to drive home during rush hour traffic from Orlando back to South Florida and get home just in time to go to bed to get up and do it all over again. Yeah. So it doesn't really seem like a smart thing to do, but I'm going to go up and vlog it. So you guys better watch the vlog because I'm really going up there for
Make
this.
Sure you set your notifications.
Yeah, I better have like 100,000. I want to have like Tim Tracker numbers on that vlog. You know,
right.
To go and do this.
Tim Tracker and Jen just cook dinner. They get 50,000 views.
I know, frying eggs.
Yeah, exactly. They're the top dogs.
And I'm like killing myself.
We still haven't met the Trackers. We love them though, but we have not met the Trackers. Okay, so that's that. You're going up for that. Now, here's the thing. I had made reservations for the first at Epcot. Okay, I tried really hard because we were going to ride Ratatouille. Well, now you got in early.
Well, you're not going to be there with me.
No, I won't, but that's okay.
Yeah.
So now I want to try to get reservations on the first for Magic Kingdom because Braden said that's the place to be. He can't even get in. He's been trying for like weeks. So I don't know if we'll be able to get into the Magic Kingdom on that day. I don't think anybody's going to be canceling. I don't like this whole reservation system, but I'm afraid it's here to stay. But I hate it. I think if you have an annual pass, you should be able to go where you want, when you want. This is baloney as far as I'm concerned.
And
I just don't like it. We have an annual pass. We should be able to get into any park when we want to.
Yeah, we talked about this a while back, and now more people have picked up on it. The reason the reservation system is there and will be staying probably permanently is because Disney knows how many people they have to have working, how much food they need, and things like this. And so I don't think the reservation system's going anywhere soon. You know, I also I wanted to talk about – there's two other things I wanted to touch on. Real quickly, we'll talk about the Magical Express and the reason we're going to talk about it quickly is this is something we don't have experience with because we don't fly to Orlando to go to the parks. And I know those of you, anytime I go to Disney and I get off Florida's Turnpike, I take the road to the parks, there's always the Magical Disney Express on the way there, on the way back.
which is fun.
The Disney
Which
Magic.
is fun.
I've never been on. I know, and people that ride it, they just rave. They love it. And it's going away in January.
Yeah, they play a video, music. It's supposed to be a lot of fun.
It's going away in January. Right now, currently, it's been free for many, many years if you're staying in a Disney hotel. And now the company that is contracted out to do it with Disney, they're going to be doing it on their own without the Disney Magical Express theming, and you're going to have to pay for it. And the average for a family of 4 is going to be, about $120 or
One
something.
way.
Yeah. So I understand it's expensive. The airport's not too close to the parks.
I'd say like 30 minutes,
if
30, 35.
in a way, it's kind of a good deal compared to other types of transportation. But here's the thing with Disney, because this is something they've been offering free. You're flying in to Orlando, you get to take the Magical Express
For
to
free,
parks.
if you're staying at a hotel.
Yeah.
If you're at a hotel.
And now they're charging you
It's
for
a perk.
something that you can. This is what's happened during the whole pandemic. Now people are back. They're getting rid of the Magical Express. They have no entertainment to speak of.
Very little.
The Food and Wine Festival, which I have not been to yet, and I usually go up right in the beginning. One of the reasons I have not gone to the Food and Wine Festival is there's no entertainment. I mean, I nothing against the Jameters, but
There's entertainment, but it's not the big names they normally get.
I like when I go to Epcot, they have like a regular band from Canada that's saying,
Oh, yeah,
that's
that-
gone now. That's where the Jameters are now. And at the main stage in front of the American Pavilion, they don't have name acts anymore. They usually would have like famous people.
Like Sheena Easton.
Mhm.
They had
Plain White Tees
Plain
were always
White
there.
Tees. They had a lot of 38 Special. I mean, that's like one of the best groups of
Yeah,
the
big
80s.
people.
Now
Yeah.
they have local, not that there's anything wrong with it, but they have local cover bands that
If
nobody's ever heard of.
If that.
And that's okay. They're good. But
Yeah.
they're definitely cutting corners
Yeah,
and not
and-
hiring the well-known musicians.
And at Magic Kingdom, there's really no main real parades like we used to have. And I think what Disney has realized is,
they have that dance parade.
we had it's a smaller version than they used to have. It's not the full version they used to have anymore. It's a really tiny. It's like a couple of floats and a guy on stilts, But I like the guys on. So one of the guys on stilts has been there for years and years and years and years. I always see him. But anyway, Disney has cut back on a lot of things, and they realize, well, the parks are still filled. So I think they made a decision. Well, you know what? We don't need the Magical Express. People will still come. We don't need all the parades and entertainers. That just costs us money. People are still coming and filling up the parks.
That's right. That's exactly what's going on.
Yeah, I'm shocked they're bringing back nightly fireworks. Tell you the truth, that costs money.
The pandemic has changed, I think, Disney, at least until they get a new CEO for a while.
Like someone who loves Walt Disney World.
Yeah, someone who actually cares about going the extra mile. I feel they're really taking advantage of the guests, but people they've gotten rid of a lot of perks. And they use the pandemic, obviously, to do it, but they're not bringing the perks back. They're finally bringing back annual passes soon, but we have no idea the structure of them.
Now we got to talk about that,
But the
Kathy.
perks are not what they used to be.
Okay.
And who knows if they'll ever bring them back.
Just the other day, they released what the new version of the annual passes will be for Disneyland. Disneyland is always different than Disney World. We have much different things at Disney World than they have at Disneyland.
Usually.
But one thing I noticed when they came out with these new passes at Disneyland, only one of them covers the parking. And I'm an annual pass holder. I have a gold pass. And the reason I have a gold pass is I don't need the higher pass because I'll never go to the water parks. We have water parks in South Florida where we live, and they're pretty good, and I don't even really go to those. So I don't want to go to the water parks. But one of the big perks of being an annual pass holder to me is that I don't have to pay to park. And you guys know parking is expensive. And what I do a lot of times when it comes time to re-up our annual passes, you can ask them, how many times have I been to the parks? And they'll tell you on the phone. They can tell you. And I'll do the math on how much money that would have cost me in just parking.
One year it was like $500.
Yeah. One time I went. The first year we had an annual pass, I went 20 times. So it's $35. That's a lot of money.
25. I think it's 25.
They've raised it. It's 30. I think it's 35
But back then
now.
it was 25.
Yeah. So, and if they make us pay for parking with the annual passes, I'm not going to like it. I mean, I'm sure I'll still get the annual pass because there's the benefit of the gate entrance. But the problem with the annual pass that I'm having is the reservation system. And I noticed in Disneyland, you're with the way they're doing it is you're guaranteed certain reservations. It's not with annual pass. The way I like to go to Disney World is I like to be able to wake up in the morning and say, you know what, I'm going to go this morning.
Well, that's how it is for
You
most
can't really
people
do
that
that.
have an annual pass. Most people that have an annual pass, maybe not most, but a huge chunk, are locals. They live in Florida. I mean, whenever we drive up, we'll see 10 or 15 cars from our area driving up for the day. A lot of people in Florida
they have
go
pass
for the
holder
day.
magnets on the back of their cars, so
Yeah, they see the magnets, and you can tell that that's where they're headed. They're heading on the Turnpike North. And a lot of people in Miami, Fort Lauderdale, and where we are, Palm Beach, go up just for the day or for the night. And it was fun to just wake up and say, I'm going to go today. You don't have that spontaneity. And that really bothers me. If they want to make a reservation thing, fine, but they should not make annual pass holders make a reservation.
Well,
They shouldn't. I'm sorry.
And
it should be a perk that we get. We spend a lot of money.
Part of the way I look at it is, the way the reservations work is like, say I wake up on Saturday morning and say I want to go to the park and I can't get a reservation. Even I might not be able to get a reservation at 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning, but maybe at 9 or 10 reservations will open up. And so I'll be able to get one and I'll say, well, it's already 10. By the time I get in the park, it'll be 1. That's the hottest time of the day. Do I want to still go? The annual passes are just, okay, I want to go. I go. I don't have to pay for parking. I can go to the park. Right. I'm not really happy with this reservation system.
Well, and then they have reservations for rides, which is nuts. I mean, I don't like reservations at all. I don't think, if you have a really good ride like Rise of the Resistance, people will wait 3 hours to get on that ride, believe me. And I would have no problem. I mean, I can't really wait in a line anymore, but I'm sure you wouldn't have a problem waiting 3 hours. You can't even do that anymore. You have to every time you've tried to get a reservation, it's locked up within 2 seconds. You can't even get through.
I went to Galaxy's Edge on the opening day of Galaxy's Edge. I waited 4 hours to ride Smuggler's Run. It was worth every minute of it. Now I wouldn't do that every time.
It's a great ride.
But I don't want to get into it too much because we did a whole show on this. I've been on Rise of the Resistance one time. It's the only time I've been able to get a reservation for the ride.
It was the first day. You and Emily went up for the first day.
And what they do with Rise of the Resistance is, they tell you can make another reservations either at 1, I think at 1 o'clock. You can never get them at 1 because they haven't finished the morning boarding parties yet. So it really is awful. And it's not just because it's a new ride. Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway is new. And
it's a similar trackless thing.
You wait in line for that, and it's usually about 50 minutes or an hour. I'm sure sometimes it's longer, but most times I see 50 minutes, an hour and 15 minutes. That's reasonable. They should do the same thing for Rise of the Resistance. And, I understand if they did not have a reservation system for Ratatouille, the line might go from France to the gate of the park for a while.
Well, let's see what they do with Ratatouille. They didn't have a reservation for Mickey's Railway. They don't have that. Let's see if they do it. Now, you had to make a reservation for the annual pass holder preview, which is typical. But let's see what happens October 1st when it opens. We will be there. We have a reservation for Epcot on that day if we stay for Epcot. And let's see if they have a reservation system then.
Yeah.
I don't like it. I'm sorry. I think it's not fair.
No, I don't like it at all.
Yeah, if you can't get a reservation, what if you make a trip, plans with your family, and you're up there for 5 days, you're spending $7,000, and you can't get on Rise of the Resistance?
And, they stopped doing this, but when Galaxy's Edge first opened here in Florida, you had to have a reservation to get into the land. You couldn't enter Galaxy's Edge unless you had a boarding party time. And I'm like, that is insane. They did away with that, thankfully.
Yeah. Well, because they knew they'd have massive crowds. There's a lot of anticipation.
And I'll tell you another thing, too, that I knew people got to be really upset about, is this new Galactic Star Cruiser hotel prices. Mm-hmm. A friend of mine is a travel agent, and he's a Disney travel agent, and he also specializes in cruises. And he was telling me that I do an annual cruise with my radio listeners, on an upscale cruise line, Celebrity Cruise Lines. It's very upscale. It's more expensive than most cruise. Not more expensive than the Disney Cruise Line. That's crazy.
No, the Disney's even more. But you don't go anywhere.
Celebrity is a upscale luxury, very sophisticated cruise line. We do a cruise every year. I'm going in January. He told me you could take 2 cruises on the new ship with Celebrity Cruises, a week each.
Wow.
For what it cost you to go stay for a couple of days at this Galactic Starliner thing. And I saw
for 2 people, it's about $5,000. For 2 nights, it's around $4,800.
And I saw the rooms. And I know you guys have seen some of the rooms online. Everybody's looked. A couple. I know you get the kids sleeping in a little cubby hole, like on the Millennium Falcon, But it really looks like a regular hotel room with a little bling in it.
Well, and what bothers me is the outside doesn't even look like a ship.
It doesn't go anywhere. It's
Maybe
not
the
a real
front,
cruise ship.
But if you look at it should look like a big
the outside.
Ship.
Well, you never see the outside.
No, but even just for the sake of appearances, when you drive by that one part on the highway, you see the back of it. It should look
like a ship.
I think so.
Well, I saw one of the add-ons you can do. Of course, everything costs money.
Of course.
You can pay extra to dine with the captain of the fake ship. And they showed artwork. And now, again, this was just artwork. It's not the real thing yet, so this may change. But the captain is an alien that I've never seen before. And I mean, he may be in the expanded universe of the expanded universe, by the way, of Star Wars are like the novels. Okay? It might be an expanded universe character that I've never heard of. But if I'm going to pay extra to eat with the captain of this fake ship that doesn't go anywhere, that charges more than cruise
Captain
ships.
Solo.
It should be like Captain Antilles from like Princess Leia's ship. Somebody I know.
Right.
I agree. As opposed to
not just some generic.
Yeah, like a generic thing like Batuu. Yeah, that I never heard of.
Well, it's a tiny hotel. It's you don't go anywhere.
It's for super rich people.
For 2 people for 2 nights, it's $4,800.
It's for the you know who it's for? It's for the Golden Oaks people.
It's for 3 people exactly. For 3 people for 2 nights, it's like
$20 million.
No,
it might as well be
55. I mean, it's like between it's around $5,500, $6,000.
Okay, now this is what
for 2 nights.
And now I'm very curious about this.
I mean, that's nuts.
Okay. Now, of course...
But people will pay it, Brian. People will go.
Of course, Tim Tracker, who's the top... And I like the Tim Tracker.
I'm sure he will go with Jeff.
I like the Tim Tracker a lot. This is on it. But out of all the vloggers, they're like the top vloggers.
Yeah,
so they can afford to go and stay there.
Disney
and pay
might
for
even send them for free.
Well,
they might get comped.
This is what I'm wondering. Once we get beyond the initial opening and someone like a Tim Tracker might either pay for a stay or somehow wrangle an invite and they do a vlog on it. I don't think, I could be wrong about this, I think Disney is not going to allow vloggers to go to this hotel.
They might not.
Now, obviously, you won't be able to go unless you stay, but a lot of the...
They might want to keep it secret.
Well, yeah, a lot of the vloggers, they'll go to... what's the special club they have at all the parks now for the rich? They got to join. It's
33.
Club 33. Okay, you'll see all the vloggers like Resort TV One. They'll say, "Oh, we're going to Club 33," but they're not allowed to show you the no photographs or videos.
They went to the one in Disneyland, I think.
There's one in Disneyland.
Yeah,
there's one
and you cannot show the inside.
And we have them at all the parks here. There's one at Epcot, Magic Kingdom, and all that stuff. We have them at different parks here, and it's they can't vlog inside. They can't take photographs. I think that's what's going to happen with the Star Cruiser after the initial thing. Now, there might be an initial thing where some people get invited and they get to take a tour or they get to stay.
Only thing
I'll tell you, Kathy, Prince Charming Dev, who's a big vlogger, and he got a special press invite to Ratatouille about 2 or 3 weeks ago. They would not let him film in Ratatouille.
He didn't get I don't think he got on the ride either.
He did. I don't know if he got to look in there. He didn't get to film on the new French Street where they have the creperie and all that. He didn't even get to film that. So I think they're going to keep the vloggers probably from vlogging that stuff. First off, the people that are going to the Star Cruiser, they're paying thousands of dollars for a cruise to nowhere, right? Right on the side of the road, basically, right? It's like that turn when you drive on the Disney property and you take that road to go to Hollywood Studios. It's right there. It's like on the edge of the employee parking lot. I don't think that people that pay thousands and thousands of dollars want to have someone there vlogging and live streaming all day at this hotel.
Well, I think what's going to happen
They're not going to allow it.
Yeah, we're not going to spend that kind of money. To me, that's just crazy.
No,
even if
way.
I was really rich, I don't know if I would do it. Because
you know what I'd pay that kind of money for?
Yeah,
this is what I'd pay that kind of money for. I was talking
maybe to stay in the castle. That's what I'd pay that kind of money for. To stay 2 nights in Cinderella's castle to me is worth $5,000. This is not.
If we did not have Smuggler's Run. Okay, if we didn't have Smuggler's Run, which is the only, I'm of the opinion that Galaxy's Edge is not really a Star Wars land. It's a generic land. It could be Morocco and Epcot, pretty much, if you look at it, with a few Star Wars things sprinkled around. And of course, the Millennium Falcon is what makes it, right? I mean, that's what makes it.
It's the only really authentic original Star Wars thing.
It's one of the few Star Wars things around. I mean, even if you go by Rise of the Resistance, I mean, the ride is spectacular, but you don't see it. You see an entrance with a couple of people. But if Smuggler's Run was not there, we didn't have the Falcon, which is just spectacular. I mean, that's what I go for. And that was like the hotel, and I got to stay on the Falcon. And I got to travel around on the Falcon on this fake thing, I would pay for that. And I'd pay a lot of money to do that once. But to go on some generic ship that goes nowhere, that I never heard of, filled with characters that I've never heard of, that I have no attachment to,
right? I'm
not going to do it. You know, we've talked about this before. They should bring back, when they bring back the photo opportunities, right? They have all of the Guardians of the Galaxy characters there, right? They should have Han, Luke, Leia, Chewbacca, R2, 3PO. I should be able to get a photograph with all of them in the medal ceremony from the original Star Wars movie. The Mandalorian should be walking around with Baby Yoda in his little carriage. There's none of that going on there.
Well, I think they dropped the ball with Batuu, and it should be based on the first 3 films. But I would love to see this hotel as Princess Leia's ship.
Absolutely.
From
that original movie.
From the original movie, Episode 4 and Rogue One at the end. And you're on Leia's ship, and it looks like the interior of that, and you're in the quarters, and maybe they could have little things happening to make it seem like you're in one of the films. I agree. It's a little generic. Now, obviously, we haven't been there. We probably will never go there. But I think what's going to happen is people are going to go. They will pay the money. I know people that have contacted me through the Facebook group that have said they're definitely going.
To the Star Cruiser to stay there?
Yep.
Wow.
But I think what's going to happen possibly is people are going to go and they're going to say it's not worth the money. It's too much and it was very Or they're going to go and say it's amazing. It's totally worth it. So we'll see what happens. The proof is in the pudding. What you're going to see is what people say about it and what the reaction, and they might tweak it. They might tweak it a little bit based on people's reaction. For $5,000 for 2 people for 2 nights, it better be the most amazing experience of your life. Okay. That's how I feel. Because you're right. You could go on a Disney cruise for a week for that much money.
Well, the people that go
and stay in a nice room,
the people that ride that go on the Star Cruiser gimmick,
to me, it's like highway robbery.
Oh yeah,
it's just ridiculous,
and it literally is, because this fake spaceship is on the side of a highway next to the employee parking lot at Disney Hollywood Studios.
Well, you do go to Batuu, but you could go there anyway for $100.
But the thing about it is, the people that go there are either going to be like super wealthy people that
or Tim Tracker.
Don't care. Well, he's one of the super wealthy. Yeah. He's super wealthy. Yeah. Like
he does well.
The type of people that will go to stay there are the people that hire the VIP guest for the whole day and night.
Yeah,
and that's thousands of dollars. So to them,
it's for the rich.
To them, the money, it's money's money, but it's not as big of a hit as it would be to like a working person.
Yeah.
You're not going to get. You might find a lot of people pulling their money together. Like they'll get 4 people together, and they're going to pull their money to get a room. There'll be some of that, and those are the people that might, because they had to pull together the money, and it's 4 friends. And those might be the people that are like, you know what, it was not really worth it, or I'll never go back.
It's about $2,500 per person, but you have to go with another person. You buy a room. You can't go with just one person. I haven't seen a price for one.
It's like a cruise ship.
It starts at 2. So you buy a room, which is $4,800 for 2 people. So 3 people, you're up to like in the 5,000s, and then
that's
4
right.
people, 6 or 6 something.
And
yeah, so you can't just go alone. You're going to pay for the 2 spots.
Yeah, and the way,
as far as I can see,
the way that they're organizing it, the way that the whole thing is like on a cruise ship. They, some of the meals are included. They have an itinerary. You have a stop off at Batuu at Galaxy's Edge. You're one port of call, and they have
which is like 2 feet away.
You're going to go to Batuu on a shuttle similar to the shuttle you ride on Rise of the Resistance. It's going to be a similar type thing.
Out the back door.
I mean, it's
I think it's
crazy
much.
town.
I don't like it, but
it's crazy
town. And it's not because I'm not going.
We could probably do a whole podcast.
I just think it's too much money.
We could probably start a whole new podcast just griping about the Star Cruiser and Galaxy's Edge
and Disney in general. Things. A lot of people might say, do you guys even like Disney? Because
we love Disney.
We do like Disney. We love Disney. And for me, but I don't want to be one of these people that just says everything's wonderful and rosy. That's
Michael K.
I don't want to say that, but that's
a
little boring to me. I like to talk about the things that that maybe we should change, or I could say, I will say things I like, and there's things I like, but I don't know, it's more fun to gripe or something. But I still do love Disney.
Well, we are not going to celebrate Disney ripping us off.
No, and we're going
That's not
up.
Magical.
We're going up for the 50th.
No, real.
We're going up for the 50th. We have a few trips planned this year for Disney because of COVID. I really wasn't able to go up there at all, so we're making up for lost time. But I'm really excited about going up for the 50th, and we're staying at a very nice place, which we'll vlog that, a place we've never stayed before. And so I'm excited about that. And we are staying, hopefully, I booked it, so we'll see unless something happens in January at the new Moana-themed rooms in the Polynesian.
Oh,
I'm
we're staying
excited
there?
about that in January. See, I just book it and I just don't tell Brian. I just tell him like the day before. Okay, we're staying in Polynesian. I want to see those
stayed
rooms.
at the Polynesian.
I stayed in the 80s.
Yeah.
It doesn't look much different, the outside, I'll tell you that. But I stayed once in the 80s. It's very nice. I really had a good time. But these are new rooms, and I love Moana. I know you don't love that movie, but I love it. Emily loves it. So I always like to go where there's a new room and see what it's like.
Yeah.
So we're going to go do that. We're going in December, but I'm excited about the 50th. I hope there is some feeling of nostalgia. Right now in the merch, I don't see it, and I'm really kind of going to be disappointed if we go up there and I don't feel like that feeling of, oh my gosh, I've been coming here for 50 years, and this is like, where I feel like tears welling up in my eyes. That's kind of what I want to experience. I guess I'm expecting too much. But I just don't see that happening now.
Don't act like Nancy Kerrigan when she went after the Olympics. But
no, I love Disney.
Look that up on YouTube.
Believe it or not, yes.
A lot of you don't know what that reference is. Nancy Kerrigan.
If you're our age, you do.
Walt Disney World after the Olympics. Go watch her, and she never was invited back. But no, what do you think about this? This might sound crazy too, but I'm talking about for the 50th anniversary. And I was talking earlier about how it'd be nice if they brought back some characters we haven't seen.
Yes, and they might.
What if they had like a photo op with a guy that was like Walt Disney?
Like somebody, I think that'd be pretty cool.
Wouldn't that be cool?
They could just get Tom Hanks.
Exactly. He's not making movies anymore.
I love that movie.
I'm serious.
Would that be
wild?
I think that'd be a great idea.
Yeah.
Get a guy to dress up and he walks around the park and he's Walt Disney.
You get to take.
I think people would love that.
You get a photo op with Walt Disney, and see that would be really cool on Main Street. Like speaking of entertainment, they haven't brought back the residents of Main Street, who are very cool. You can have conversations all day with those people.
Mm-hmm. They haven't brought them back?
No, they'd have like the city council and all those people out there. And one time I was there on.
There's a lot of entertainers they haven't brought back.
What's the? I was there on Dapper Day once at Magic Kingdom, and on Main Street, I had a hard time telling who the Dapper Day people were and who the residents of Main Street
because
were.
they dress like that.
Exactly.
I know.
Exactly.
All right, guys. Thanks so much for listening, and we appreciate all of you guys who listen. Make sure you like and subscribe. We're trying to do a podcast a week, as much as we can, and as we said, Brian will be going on the 8th. To the Ratatouille ride. We're going to get that vlog up day. September 8th.
That's right.
We're going to have that vlog of the outside and the inside of the ride, the whole thing.
That's right.
Really cool.
I am going to be one of the other 268 vloggers that day who will have their video up on the first day of Ratatouille, which you can already see in France if you go on YouTube. But I'll be there.
Exactly. All right, guys. Thanks so much for listening. Have a good week.